Growing up in Silicon Valley, I always knew I was different from my sister Madison. While she cultivated her social media empire with perfectly curated posts and viral dance videos, I found my peace in the gentle hum of my custom-built PC. My name is Thea Wells, and I've never quite aligned with my family's traditional vision of success. Madison never missed a chance to highlight our differences. "God, Thea, you're such a stereotype," she would say, adjusting her designer outfit for her next Instagram story. "My followers literally can't believe we're related. Who spends their weekends coding instead of living life?" I'd respond by pushing my glasses up and continuing to debug my latest AI model. The satisfaction of solving complex algorithms meant more to me than any number of likes or shares. While she mastered the art of affiliate marketing and brand deals, I was diving deep into neural networks and machine learning frameworks. My parents, especially Mom, a former model turned charity director, struggled to reconcile my passion for technology with their expectations. "Thea darling," Mom would sigh in her perfectly modulated voice, "wouldn't you rather join Madison's wellness retreat? All those hours staring at code can't be good for your skin." But I had my own definition of success, one that didn't involve following Madison's path of becoming what she called a digital lifestyle curator. When MIT offered me a full scholarship, followed by Stanford's graduate program, Madison couldn't resist commenting on her live stream, "Well, at least she'll fit in with all the other tech nerds in Silicon Valley." Post-Stanford, I landed a senior position in the AI research division of a leading tech company. My compensation package, including stock options, was impressive, far beyond what I let my family know. I understood the dynamics all too well. If they knew the truth, Madison would want startup capital for her next groundbreaking social media venture, and my parents would pressure me to contribute to maintaining our family's carefully crafted image. So I maintained a facade of modest success, living in a reasonably priced apartment while my investment portfolio grew. My goal was clear: a secluded modern home in the valley where I could lead my AI team remotely, far from the constant pressure to perform for others' social media feeds. Everything changed with Madison's FaceTime call. "Thea," she chirped, her face perfectly positioned in professional lighting, "Pierce proposed. And yes, you're invited to the celebration. I need my full family aesthetic for the photos." I knew Pierce Sullivan, her startup CEO fiancé, genuinely brilliant in tech, though his attraction to Madison's influencer lifestyle puzzled me. Still, I wished them happiness, even while knowing Madison probably only included me for the supportive sister content angle. "The engagement party is at the Summit Room at the Langham next month," she continued, her voice shifting to that familiar influencer teaching basics tone, "and please, for the love of my follower count, wear something appropriate. No hoodies, no a girl boss t-shirts. And maybe try TikTok's viral hair hacks? You do follow my beauty tutorials, right?" I pushed my glasses up, grateful this wasn't a live stream. "Yes, Madison, I know how to dress for your audience. I'll look the part." That weekend, I visited my parents' Atherton estate, immediately regretting my decision. The moment I entered, I was overwhelmed by wedding planning chaos, Mom coordinating with celebrity wedding planners, Dad reviewing venue contracts with his investment analyst's precision. "Oh Thea," Mom said, barely looking up from her iPad Pro, "did Madison tell you about the engagement? The announcement post got 500,000 likes already." "Yeah, she mentioned it," I replied, settling into a Scandinavian designer chair and reaching for an organic green juice. "What's the budget looking like?" Dad adjusted his Rolex uncomfortably. "We're considering liquidating some assets." I nearly choked on my drink. Liquidating assets? For an influencer wedding? Why not invest that in their future instead? Mom looked at me like I'd suggested hosting the wedding at a coding boot camp. "Thea honey, you don't understand the influencer economy. You spend all your time with AI models, you don't even have a social media presence. Every influencer needs their perfect viral wedding moment." "Every influencer except me, apparently," I muttered into my glass. "That's exactly my point. Mom's French manicure tapped against her iPad in frustration. You don't understand personal branding at all. When was the last time you even updated your LinkedIn? I suppressed a response about my multiple AI patents and the men who felt threatened by my technological innovations. Instead, I simply said, I just think spending millions on social media content seems excessive. Nobody asked for your metrics. Madison's voice rang from behind. I hadn't heard her Louboutins clicking on the marble. Some of us actually understand ROI on social capital. I turned to face her. And some of us understand actual ROI. God, you're such a coding drone. Madison rolled her eyes, perfectly timed for her Instagram story. This is why you're still single. Everything has to be quantifiable with you. Where's the spontaneous content? The authentic moments? Probably archived with your unfiltered photos, I murmured. Mom shot me a warning look, careful not to crease her forehead. Thea, if you're going to be negative about Madison's big news, maybe you should go back to your little coding cave. I stood up, suddenly exhausted by the performance. Maybe I should. Good luck with the content strategy. As I walked to my Tesla, I could hear them resuming their wedding hashtag planning through the smart home system. I wondered if they'd even notice if I didn't show up to the engagement party, but I knew I had to go, if only to prove I could play my assigned role in Madison's perfect social media narrative. The month passed in a blur of code and deadlines, and on the evening of Madison's engagement party, I made a genuine effort to fit her aesthetic. I invested in a custom Alexander McQueen dress and had my usually practical hair styled by her recommended celebrity stylist. The mirror reflected someone who could have been a tech CEO's sister, exactly the image Madison wanted. The summit room at the Langham had been transformed into a social media dream, strategic lighting for optimal photo opportunities, floating holographic displays showcasing Madison's curated relationship timeline, champagne fountains positioned for maximum Reels potential. The guests had already arranged themselves for optimal content creation, Madison's influencer network conducting mid-party brand deals by the bar, Pierce's tech industry friends discussing series of funding at the front tables, and my parents networking with potential brand collaboration partners. After searching through the VIP and secondary filming sections for my place card, I approached my parents. Mom, where am I supposed to sit? She glanced at me while maintaining her camera-ready smile, her expression mixing surprise with carefully concealed disappointment. Apparently, even my designer dress and professional styling didn't meet her influencer mom standards. Oh, she said, checking her event planning app, your table is over there. She gestured toward the room's dead zone, a corner carefully positioned away from all the professional lighting rigs and camera setups. I discovered my solitary place card at an empty table meant for 6, strategically positioned behind a massive floral arrangement that would block me from every camera angle. Standing there, I felt my carefully maintained professional composure crack. What the hell, Madison, I muttered, my MIT class ring catching the light as I clenched my fist. I found Madison in her element, surrounded by her bridesmaids/fellow influencers, all live streaming her custom-designed engagement ring. Madison, we need to talk. Privately. She rolled her eyes but followed me to a relatively quiet corner, her phone still recording. What? And please don't ruin my engagement metrics. Metrics? You've hidden me away like I'm bad for your brand, and you're worried about metrics? Oh my God, get over your persecution complex, Madison snapped, finally lowering her phone. What did you expect? You're literally a walking Asian tech stereotype, Thea. All my followers think you're totally cringe, and Pierce's investor network doesn't need to see the family's black sheep. Her words hit with the force of a failed deployment. Your followers think I'm cringe because I actually built something real instead of just influencing? Because I don't manufacture my life for likes? No, because you're the most basic tech girl ever who cares more about her GitHub commits than actual human connections. Madison's voice rose, attracting her videographer's attention. Mom appeared at Madison's side, picture perfect in her Chanel. What's happening here? Mom, Madison just called me a stereotype and basic, I said, hating how my voice betrayed my Stanford-trained poise. Mom's expression hardened beneath her expertly applied makeup. Thea, stop disrupting your sister's content schedule, this is her big viral moment. Just go sit at your table and try not to ruin any of the shots. I looked between them, these two women who measured success in followers rather than innovations, and felt something inside my perfectly curated professional facade shatter. Without another word, I turned and walked to my designated social media shadow zone. I endured 30 minutes at that isolated table, watching the staged proposal recreation, my parents practiced proud expressions, and the choreographed celebrations while I sat alone in the algorithm-friendly darkness. Finally, my engineering mind calculated the optimal exit strategy. I gathered my things and quietly left. No one noticed, or if they did, my absence wouldn't affect their engagement metrics. Back home, I shed the designer dress for my comfortable coding clothes, yes, the Silicon Valley uniform of a hoodie and jeans that Madison claimed was destroying the family aesthetic. Then I did what I always did when emotional processing was needed. I dove into my latest AI project. Hours became sprints, sprints became releases. I immersed myself in development, taking on challenging AI research projects and earning significant equity grants. My investment portfolio grew while family interactions dropped to zero, no DMs, no tags, no story mentions. It felt like a successful debugging session. That's when I decided to stop minimizing my success. With a healthy stock portfolio and a salary that could easily handle Bay Area real estate, I contacted a luxury real estate agent named Autumn Rivera. I outlined my requirements: modern smart home, preferably in a secure community, gigabit fiber connection for remote work, and absolutely no social media influencers as neighbors. Autumn's professional smile widened. I have the perfect property in mind. She was right. The house was a masterpiece of modern architecture. A sleek smart home in the hills with floor-to-ceiling windows, surrounded by acres ensuring privacy. The previous owners had already installed enterprise-grade networking, and the home office featured a stunning view of the valley. I'll take it, I declared, already mentally designing my home automation system. The closing process was efficient, and within weeks I was a Bay Area homeowner. I told exactly 2 people about my purchase, my Stanford roommate and my project manager. My family didn't need to know, they'd lost that privilege when they deemed me unworthy of their Instagram grid. I moved in systematically, setting up my AI development lab first, then furnishing the rest of the house with minimalist precision. For the first time in my life, I felt truly optimized, no social pressure, no judgment, just clean code and clear thoughts. But optimization, as I was learning, was a target my family would constantly try to disrupt. 2 weeks after deploying my new life, my phone displayed my mother's FaceTime request. "Thea, we need a family meeting," she said with influencer-perfect seriousness. "Come to the house tomorrow afternoon, your sister will be live streaming too." I should have recognized the red flags in her tone, should have questioned this sudden engagement after weeks of radio silence. Instead, I agreed, walking straight into their staged intervention. At my parents' Atherton estate, Madison's cherry red G-Wagon, another brand partnership perk, was already parked in the circular driveway. I parked my Model S behind it and recalibrated my emotional firewall before entering. The scene inside resembled a tech startup's board meeting, my parents and Madison positioned like venture capitalists ready to reject a pitch, with Madison angling her ring for optimal lighting. "Sit down, Thea," Dad commanded from behind his mahogany desk, indicating the lone Eames chair facing them. "What's this impromptu meeting about?" Madison leaned forward, eyes sharp as a successful market penetration. "Why don't you tell us about your new house, Miss Secret Tech Success?" My pulse spiked like a DDoS attack. Then the connection resolved. "Autumn," I said flatly. Your realtor Autumn is my luxury home tour collaborator. Madison's laugh was social media ready. Imagine my surprise when she mentioned helping my sister buy a multi-million-dollar smart home, my sister who lives in a modest apartment and never contributes to family ventures. Mom interrupted, "We know everything, Thea, we know about your AI patents, your stock options. You've been deceiving us all this time." Deceiving? I stood up, anger optimizing my response time. I haven't deceived anyone, I just chose to keep my financial data private. There's a significant difference. Same energy, Madison snapped. You've been playing poor while coding your way into a fortune. I laughed, the sound as bitter as a failed deployment. When exactly should I have shared my metrics? At my shadow band table during your engagement party? You were embarrassed by me when you thought I was a struggling coder, and now you're angry because I'm actually successful? Dad raised his hand like a CEO calling for silence. Thea, the point is you've never shown any interest in family investment. We're leveraging assets for your sister's influencer wedding while you're buying luxury smart homes. Interest in helping? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. When have any of you shown interest in my actual life? You've never visited my workspace, never asked about my AI research except to dismiss it as playing with computers. The only time you notice me is when you need funding or want to critique my personal brand. They all started talking over each other. We could have helped Madison reach 1 million followers sooner. I needed seed funding for my lifestyle app. The wedding's production budget alone is astronomical. I raised my hand like a CEO ending a contentious meeting. I'm done apologizing for my success. I'm done feeling guilty for choosing technological innovation over social media validation. I'm leaving. Wait. Madison interrupted, switching to her sponsored content voice. We didn't actually call you here to fight about your secret fortune. She paused, adjusting her ring for optimal lighting. Since you can afford a Silicon Valley mansion, you can sponsor my wedding. Think of the exposure. A laugh escaped me, not of joy, but of pure algorithmic chaos. Don't you dare mock us. Madison stood, her perfectly curated calm cracking. You owe this family. I don't owe you anything, I replied with the precision of well-documented code, especially not after how you've treated me. How we've treated you. Madison's voice peaked like a server crash. You're the one who's been living a lie, hiding your tech success from your family. I faced her directly. You're right, Madison, I am successful. I'm that basic tech girl who can afford her own house, and guess what? This walking stereotype doesn't fund weddings for her influencer's sister. Thea. Mom gasped, her carefully maintained image slipping. How dare you use your sister's content against her? Why not? She meant it when she posted those stories mocking the women in tech. She meant it when she excluded me from her engagement reels, she meant it every time she called me cringe or basic or a stereotype. Why shouldn't I mean it now? As I walked to the door, ignoring their escalating demands and accusations, I turned back one final time. You know what's ironic? If you had ever shown genuine interest in my work, if you had ever treated me like a real member of this family instead of bad optics for your social media empire, I might have actually wanted to invest in your ventures. But you optimized for likes instead of love, and I've refactored my life accordingly. I drove my Tesla home to my beautiful smart house feeling as lightweight as optimized code. But like any complex system, there were always more edge cases to handle. When I returned home that night, instead of my usual late-night coding, I gazed at the valley's night view through the wide living room windows. The valley lights shone regularly and beautifully, like the algorithms I had written. That's when my smartphone vibrated. It was a message from Pierce. Thea, I need to talk to you. Can we meet tomorrow? The next day, Pierce visited my office. His expression showed a tired shadow instead of his usual entrepreneurial confidence. Things have gotten complicated with Madison after your incident. But you were right. We had lost sight of the basics. He let out a deep sigh. Actually, I've decided to break off the engagement. Madison suffered major losses in her latest investment venture. But she refuses to face reality. It was all investment just for show. I see, I replied quietly. But that's not my life anymore. A few weeks later, after finishing a remote meeting with my AI development team at home, I received unexpected visitors. Madison's daughters, Lily, 7, and Sophia, 5, were standing there with their mother's personal photographer. Both were fascinated by my smart home system. "Hey, Aunt Thea, can this AI learn our voices too?" Lily asked, her eyes sparkling. "Of course. Would you like me to show you how?" That afternoon, I taught my nieces the basics of programming. Their pure curiosity lit a warm light in my heart. As they were leaving, Sophia suddenly hugged me. "Can I come again? I want to talk about programming, not about Mom's followers." Those words unexpectedly resonated deeply within me. That night, while writing code for a new project, I suddenly realized something. Next to me sat James, a young engineer who showed genuine interest in my research. Conversations with him were always natural and comfortable. "Your AI concepts are always unexpected," he smiled while looking at my code. I looked at my reflection on the screen. I no longer needed to conform to anyone's expectations. Here, I could live true to myself. I heard rumors that Madison's Instagram followers had plummeted and my parents were looking for new investment opportunities. But that wasn't my concern anymore. My new AI project was achieving success beyond expectations. I'm moving forward toward the next goal with my team members. Sometimes, Lily and I get excited talking about algorithms. In this house on the hill, I'm walking my own path. It's not a lonely journey at all. There are people who face me with sincerity, children with pure curiosity, and above all, the strength to value myself.